So hi, Christina. It's so glad that you joined for this opportunity to share a little bit about what the loss and grief specialist training was like that you attended back in July.
Well, the training that I took in July was a very great experience. It was more than a grieving training to become a facilitator, to facilitate a group. It was a more self-development growth. I'm still growing through it. I feel more confident now. I feel like I have all the tools and skills that I need to facilitate a group, either in a school setting, at work, or at church. One of the most important things that I learned during this training was to listen.
Mm.
And what I mean by listening is to be present in the moment, to provide the space to allow the person to speak up without judging, criticizing, or stepping in. And it's something that I'm still working on myself. It has helped me with my relationship with my husband and my daughter. I'm more calm right now. And I feel more resilient after taking this training.
Wow, that's a power. It sounds like it had a powerful impact on you, Christina. And it sounds like it had a personal and a professional impact, both.
Definitely, it definitely had a professional impact on me. I have my 7-year-old daughter that goes to summer camp. And the other day I went to pick her up, and one of the teachers took my attention, told me that one of the girls was bothering my daughter. And my daughter wasn't defending herself, passing notes, acting like a little bully to my daughter. And my daughter stayed quiet. Once I got home, I asked my daughter, what happened? I always tell you to speak up, to defend yourself. I told the teacher. She goes, Mommy, you don't know what happened. So I asked her, what happened? She goes, her grandmother died a month ago, Mommy, and she doesn't know how to act. And I felt so surprised. I said, my daughter hasn't taken this grief and loss training. And she's not here, teaching me what's going on in the schools. None of the teachers are aware that this little girl in her camp is grieving, that she's acting out towards my daughter. And to know that my daughter is 7 years old after, taking this training, that I'm able to communicate with my daughter, to express her grief. She's able to understand other kids in her classroom.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. I think that says a lot about your daughter and a lot about how you've prepared her and given her empathy. But what she did, which is such an important thing when we're supporting people who are grieving, she listened to her behavior. She didn't judge her behavior or get defensive. She just listened and said she's grieving and she's acting out her grief. She doesn't know how to act. I love that story, Christina. That's an amazing, just what good instincts she has already at age 7.
Definitely. I live here in North Bergen, in New Jersey, and there's no support groups for children out there. When I was grieving myself, I have an experience of losing my sister 3 years ago, and I had my daughter in the schools. They have a school psychologist, a school social workers, but they had like no referral program, how to handle grief, how to really talk to the child. That's something that I would like to reach out to the school system, definitely, to actually.
Yeah, our next training that we're going to be doing the weekend in October is really for school professionals. And it sounds like you're saying that really school professionals need to know the stuff that you learned in the training from July.
Definitely. I think people in the school system, our children are the future, definitely. And it's not only the children or anybody in the school system. I think anybody who works outside in the work environment, we need to be able to speak up, to share our feelings, and to be okay, not to be ashamed about the way we feel about our losses. Yeah. Especially now with this global pandemic right now, with the COVID situation, we're all grieving together. It's not only a loss of a loved one. People are dealing with divorce, separation, a loss of an identity, moving out of the house, a loss of a job. And all those things is interconnected to relationship. I think we should all be educated in this. We should all be able to take this training about becoming a graphic, a grief and loss specialist for yourself, for your own growth.
Yeah, it's kind of like a missing piece in our lives, don't you think? I think, I was a social worker for many years, and when I got my degree in social work, I didn't have to take a class in grief and loss. And it's not required in most schools of counseling or psychology. And it's really an important part of life. And the social emotional learning that kids get in school, they don't talk about grief and loss. So I think you're right, Christina. It's something that students need to know about, parents need to know about, school staff need to know about it. I agree.
I really motivate anybody who's out there who's willing to take this program, this training. And this training is different from other training in the sense that this training gives you that hands-on experience at the moment. It's very interactive. Although I did it on Zoom virtually, it wasn't boring at all. It was very interesting. I felt very relaxed. There were questionnaires, there were quizzes. You get to meet other people from all over the world. You get to share the experience and to know that we're very different, yet we're all the same. We're in this together, definitely.
It definitely has the capacity to bring people together. And I'm glad you sort of explained that the word training is probably the wrong word. What people are in these 3 days is their own group, excuse me, group process, where they get a chance to learn about their own grief, learn about the grief of others, and learn how to show up differently and listen, as you pointed out, how to really listen is really what that training is about, and how to just be present and bear witness when people are going through hard times.
I really agree with you, Connie, definitely. I learned that I was holding this mask. When I first got into this training, I said, since I had the previous experience about losing someone to death, grieving, this is a piece of cake. But I never spoke about my secondary loss. It was my visual impairment. I have a disability. And I was able to talk about it during group without feeling shameful, to open up. And this group actually facilitated for me to open up, to talk about my needs and my accommodations, that it's okay to talk about your needs. And it's okay to be you.
Yes. And I love how you, Christina, you named that death is just one kind of loss. There's so many different kinds of loss that we go through. And when we don't talk about those losses, it not only hurts us, but it kind of doesn't allow other people around us to really see us, to really know who we are. Yeah. So true. Well, I'm just so grateful. Any final words of encouragement that you want to share? You've already done a beautiful job of letting people know why they should attend. Any final words, Christina, about what the training has meant to you?
That we need a social awareness. We need to wake up. Definitely. This is the call. And Imagine has facilitated this training for you guys, definitely hands-on, like I said before, to take this chance for yourself. It will change your life forever. It's changing mine, definitely.
Well, thank you, Christina. And I'm so glad for you in that regard. And thank you for taking the time to tell others about this training. And if you're interested in this training, we'll make sure that you know a way to reach out and be able to sign up and get more information. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.